I am Alira Vaughn, and I am 36 years old. The night my marriage fractured began quietly, wrapped in candlelight and soft piano music at Lunette Harbor, a luxury waterfront restaurant known for romance and second chances. The kind of place couples came to remember who they used to be before life complicated love. I had chosen it for that exact reason. Kieran. My voice cut through the smooth jazz like glass breaking. My husband's hand froze midair. A silver fork hovered inches from his mouth, carrying a bite of molten chocolate soufflé. Across from him sat a woman who was not his wife. Young, polished, effortlessly beautiful. Her laughter stopped instantly, her smile dissolving as reality caught up with her. Kieran slowly lifted his eyes and met mine. I smiled. Not the warm, forgiving smile he knew. This one was cold. Measured. Final. I turned and walked out without another word. Before we continue, please like, comment, and subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss our powerful stories. And to everyone who has been supporting this channel, drop a comment and tell us where you're watching from, your city, your country, your corner of the world. We're building a global storytelling family here. My hands trembled slightly on the steering wheel as I drove away, but my face remained composed. Calm was my armor now. 12 years. 12 years of marriage, and this was how Kieran chose to honor it. I had planned everything carefully. I left work early without telling him. Bought his favorite sandalwood cologne. Reserved a table at Lunette Harbor, the same restaurant where he had once knelt, voice shaking, asking me to be his forever. I wanted to surprise him, to reignite the spark that had dimmed under deadlines, responsibilities, and emotional distance. Instead, I was the one ambushed by truth. The image replayed in my mind like a cruel film stuck on repeat. Kieran leaning forward, feeding her dessert. Laughing, a real laugh, the kind I hadn't heard in months. His hand resting over hers, intimate and familiar. The look in his eyes that once belonged only to me. My phone buzzed. Kieran. I silenced it without hesitation. When I pulled into our driveway, the house looked exactly the same. A modern stone-front home in Briarwood Crest, the neighborhood we sacrificed 5 years to afford. The garden I planted with my own hands. The porch swing where we once drank coffee every Sunday morning, dreaming out loud about our future. Everything was intact. Nothing was safe. Inside, the house smelled faintly of lavender and lemon cleaner. On the marble entry table sat the anniversary card I had left that morning. To my husband, my best friend, my forever. Happy 12 years. I love you more today than yesterday. I stared at it for a long time, then quietly placed it into a drawer and closed it. I poured a glass of red wine and sat in the dark living room, letting silence settle around me. I could have screamed. I wanted to. I wanted to flip tables, throw cake, demand answers until my voice broke. That was the woman Kieran fell in love with in graduate school. The fiery, outspoken Alira who never swallowed her pain. But life had taught me something important. Loud reactions give short relief. Silence gives control. My grandmother's voice echoed clearly in my mind. When someone shows you who they are, don't argue with it. Don't fight it. Remember it. And when you move, move with purpose. 20 minutes later, my phone exploded. 8 missed calls. 16 messages. Please come back. It's not what it looks like. I can explain. Alira, answer me. You're scaring me. I read every message with the emotional distance of someone reading a stranger's confession. Then I blocked his number and opened my laptop. I had always been strategic. That's why I was good at my job. As a senior brand consultant, I built narratives, controlled perception, planned outcomes. I knew how to research, how to execute, how to wait. Tonight, those skills became personal. I typed into the search bar. Professional actors for private engagements. Agencies filled the screen. I studied reviews carefully. Checked credentials. Looked for discretion, not drama. I needed someone specific. Charming, confident, believable. Someone who could stand beside me and make Kieran feel exactly what I felt. One agency stood out. Apex Persona Agency. Actors for corporate events, high-profile clients, and private engagements. I clicked. In the inquiry box, I typed, looking for a male actor, age 32 to 40. Sophisticated, emotionally intelligent, convincing presence. Needed for a private dinner engagement in 3 days. Absolute discretion required. Compensation, $7,500. I hit send and closed the laptop. The front door burst open moments later. Kieran rushed in, jacket missing, shirt wrinkled, panic written across his face. Alira, Thank God you're home. I've been calling nonstop. Your phone must be acting up, I said calmly, lifting my wine glass. Mine works just fine. He stopped short, studying my face, bracing for the explosion that never came. Baby, please. Let me explain. Explain what? I asked gently. I saw you having dinner. Is that illegal? I walked past him toward the kitchen. Are you hungry? I added. I made lasagna. Confusion replaced panic. This wasn't the reaction he expected. Alira, about the woman. Kieran, I interrupted softly, resting my hand against his chest. I trust you. After 12 years of marriage, if I can't trust you now, what kind of wife would I be? The words sounded perfect. My eyes were ice. Are you sure you're okay? He asked quietly. Never better, I smiled. Sit. You must be exhausted. As he picked at his food, guilt eating him alive, my phone vibrated in my pocket. Apex Persona Agency. We have availability. 3 days. 3 days. Kieran thought he was hiding something. He had no idea he had already lost. That night he didn't sleep. Or the next. Or the one after. He lay beside me, staring at the ceiling, waiting for a storm that refused to come. I cooked his favorite meals. Ironed his shirts. Kissed him goodbye every morning. Asked about his day every evening. It unsettled him more than rage ever could. On the second day, he tried to confess. I was in the backyard trimming roses when he approached. Alira, I need to talk to you. I said, focused on the thorns. About the other night. Oh, I replied brightly. That reminds me. I'm hosting a small dinner here tomorrow night. He froze. A dinner? Yes. Just us and one guest. I straightened and touched his cheek gently. Someone very important to me lately. His heart visibly skipped. Important how? You'll see, I said calmly. I think you'll like him. Him. Before he could respond, I walked back inside. That evening, alone in my office, I studied the profile on my screen. Adrian Cole. 37 years old. Theater trained. Warm eyes. Controlled presence. Effortless charm. We spoke twice on the phone. No physical contact, I said firmly. Just conversation. Believability. He paused. Why not confront him? Because confrontation lets him explain, I replied. I don't want explanations. I want understanding. A quiet laugh. You're dangerous. I'm precise, I corrected. On the third night, Kieran came home holding white lilies. Alira, please. I can't live like this. Our guest will be here soon, I said calmly. The doorbell rang. I smoothed my dress and smiled. That's Adrian, I said. Please be polite. And just like that, the truth Kieran had been running from walked through the door. The door opened slowly. Adrian Cole stepped inside with the confidence of a man who belonged anywhere he stood. He was taller than Kieran, dressed casually but deliberately, dark tailored trousers, a fitted charcoal shirt, sleeves rolled just enough to suggest ease rather than effort. His presence filled the entryway in a way that made the air feel suddenly heavier. Alira, Adrian said warmly, pulling me into a brief, familiar embrace. His hand rested at my lower back a second longer than necessary. Not inappropriate, just intimate enough to sting. I'm glad you could make it, I replied, smiling genuinely for the first time in days. Then I turned. Kieran, this is Adrian. Adrian, my husband. The word husband landed like a challenge. Adrian extended his hand. I've heard a lot about you. Kieran shook it automatically, his grip tight, eyes searching Adrian's face for answers he wasn't ready to hear. Likewise, he muttered, though he clearly hadn't. The dining room felt smaller now. Or maybe it was just the tension tightening the walls. We sat. I poured wine slowly, deliberately. The silence pressed against Kieran's ears until he finally spoke. So, how exactly do you two know each other? Chicago, Adrian answered smoothly. Marketing summit last spring. Kieran stiffened. You went to Chicago alone. Yes, I said calmly. You had a last-minute work emergency. Remember? His jaw tightened. He did remember. He'd been with her that weekend. It was unexpected, Adrian continued. We ended up talking for hours. Alira has a brilliant mind. Rare combination of intelligence and intuition. Kieran forced a smile. She's very capable. She's also emotionally present, Adrian added lightly, meeting Kieran's eyes. That matters. I caught the flicker of irritation on Kieran's face before he masked it. So you kept in touch, he asked. Yes, I replied. We did. How often? I tilted my head. Why the sudden interest? I'm just trying to understand, he said sharply. You never mentioned him. You never asked, I answered. Adrian took a sip of wine. You'd be surprised how many things people don't ask when they assume they already know everything. Kieran's fingers tightened around his glass. Dinner continued, each course served with politeness sharpened into weapons. Adrian laughed easily. Listened when I spoke. Remembered details. Alira takes her coffee black, he said casually. Hates thunderstorms. Loves white lilies. Kieran looked up sharply. You told him that? I tell him things, I replied. He listens. The room went quiet. How long has this been going on? Kieran asked, voice low. What exactly are you accusing me of? I asked calmly. Adrian shifted slightly. If this is uncomfortable, I can step out. No, I said, covering his hand gently. Stay. Kieran stared at our hands. When did you stop touching me like that? He asked quietly. I didn't answer. Instead, I stood and cleared the plates. My hands were steady, but my chest burned. When I returned, Kieran was standing. I can't do this, he said. I need the truth. The truth? I repeated. You want truth now? Yes. I met his eyes. I saw you at Lunette Harbor. With her. Feeding her dessert. Laughing like you used to laugh with me. His face drained of color. Alira, don't, I said softly. Not yet. Adrian looked between us, realization dawning. This is about that night. Yes, I said. It is. Kieran ran a hand through his hair. I was going to tell you. When? I asked. After 6 months? After I stopped questioning my own reality. Adrian stood. Maybe I should go. No, Kieran snapped, turning on him. Who are you to sit in my house pretending to? Enough, I said sharply. Silence slammed down. Then I said it. Adrian is an actor. Both men froze. What? Kieran whispered. I hired him, I continued, voice steady. Paid him $7,500 to pretend to be my romantic partner for one evening. Adrian exhaled slowly, tension leaving his shoulders. Kieran staggered back into his chair. You what? I wanted you to feel what I felt, I said. The confusion. The shock. The fear that everything you believed might be a lie. Kieran looked at Adrian. So none of this was real? No, Adrian replied honestly. But the pain on your face is. I turned back to my husband. If it had been real, would you forgive me the way you expect me to forgive you? He had no answer. After a long silence, he whispered. Her name is Tessa. It's been 6 months. The words crushed the air out of my lungs. 6 months, I repeated. Not a mistake. A relationship. I'm sorry, he said. I didn't know how to stop. I laughed bitterly. You always know how to stop when it benefits you. Then I said the words that changed everything. There's something else you should know. He looked up. I'm pregnant. The room went completely still. What? He breathed. 10 weeks, I said. I found out the morning I went to surprise you. Adrian quietly stepped away, giving us space, but he didn't leave. He stood nearby, present, protective. Kieran reached for me. We're having a baby. I am, I corrected, stepping back. I don't know what we are. We can fix this, he pleaded. Therapy. Counseling. Anything. Answer me honestly, I said. If I had done what you did, would you forgive me? He said nothing. That was answer enough. I filed for divorce, I said quietly. Yesterday. He broke. Alira, please. I also accepted a role in New York, I continued. Senior Vice President. I start in 2 months. His head snapped up. You never told me. You never asked, I replied. And the baby? The baby comes with me. Silence. I won't keep your child from you, I added. But I will not raise her in a house built on lies. Adrian finally spoke. Do you understand what you're losing? Stay out of this, Kieran snapped. No, Adrian said calmly. This is what it looks like when someone finally chooses themselves. Kieran's phone buzzed repeatedly on the table. I glanced at the screen. Tessa. I slid the phone toward him. She's waiting, I said. Go. He didn't move. I won't be chosen out of guilt, I continued. Love doesn't lie. Love doesn't gaslight. I walked to the hallway table and picked up an envelope. Divorce papers, I said. You'll receive the rest from my lawyer. Kieran collapsed into the chair, hands covering his face. Adrian watched quietly, then turned to me. Are you okay? No, I said honestly. But I will be. 1 week later, my phone rang. Unknown number. Alira, a woman asked softly. My name is Tessa. I closed my eyes and answered. The call from the unknown number lingered in the air long after I answered. Alira, the woman's voice said again, tentative, careful, as though she expected me to hang up at any second. My name is Tessa. I closed my eyes, steadying my breath. For a brief moment, I considered ending the call, blocking the number, pretending I didn't care. But I did care. Go on, I said quietly. There was a pause, then a shaky inhale. Please don't hang up. I just need 10 minutes. There are things you deserve to know. Silence stretched between us. Then I said, 10 minutes. Public place. We met the following afternoon at a cafe in Ridgeway Square, crowded enough to feel safe, quiet enough to talk. Tessa arrived first. She looked younger in daylight. Nervous. Her hands trembled slightly as she wrapped them around her cup. She stood when she saw me. Thank you for coming. I didn't smile. Say what you came to say. She swallowed hard. I didn't know. Not really. He told me you were separated. That the divorce was just paperwork. That you were both done. My chest tightened, but I stayed silent. He showed me apartment listings, she continued. Talked about starting over. Said he stayed out of guilt, not love. I believed him. I wanted to. I watched her closely. There was no arrogance in her voice. No triumph. Only regret. When did you realize he was lying? I asked. After your dinner, she admitted. He came to my place frantic. Told me you'd discovered everything. But his story didn't match what I'd been told. I started checking details. Social media. Dates. Timelines. She slid her phone across the table. On the screen were photos, recent ones. Kieran and me. Anniversary captions. Smiling lies dated weeks before. He blocked me from seeing this version of his life, she said. Created a separate profile just for me. One where he looked single. Available. The manipulation settled heavily in my stomach. He never planned to leave, I said. She shook her head. No, I was never the future. Just excitement. Why are you telling me this? I asked quietly. Her eyes filled with tears. Because I'm pregnant too. The world tilted. What? I whispered. 8 weeks, she said. I told him 2 days ago. He asked me to terminate it. Said a baby would complicate things with you. The cafe noise blurred into nothing. 2 women. 2 pregnancies. 1 man who fractured multiple lives without hesitation. Does he know I'm pregnant? She asked. Yes, I replied. He found out the same day I found out about you. We sat there, stunned by the symmetry of betrayal. I'm keeping the baby, Tessa said firmly. He doesn't get to take that from me too. I studied her face. She wasn't my enemy. She was collateral damage. He's a narcissist, I said slowly. My therapist used that word. I thought she was exaggerating. Tessa nodded. He needed 2 versions of himself. One stable. One admired. Neither of us were real people to him. My phone buzzed. Kieran again. He's been calling me nonstop too, she said. Begging. Promising. Rewriting history. They always do, I replied. We sat in silence for a long moment, then she said quietly, You deserved better than the version of you he described to me. What version was that? I asked. She hesitated. Cold. Career-obsessed. Distant. I let out a soft, humorless laugh. I gave up everything for him. She looked surprised. Everything. Yes. Promotions. A relocation. A life I wanted. And somehow I became the villain. We stood to leave. An unspoken understanding settled between us. This wasn't friendship, but it wasn't hostility either. It was truth. As I walked to my car, my phone rang again. This time it was Adrian. Alira, he said carefully. Kieran showed up at my building. He's demanding answers. He doesn't look stable. A calm clarity settled over me. I'm on my way, I said. Kieran was pacing outside Adrian's apartment when we arrived. His hair was unkempt. His shirt wrinkled. When he saw me, relief and anger collided on his face. Alira. Finally. Tell him to stop messing with my marriage. Then he noticed Tessa. What is she doing here? He demanded. We talked, I said calmly. Interesting conversation. His eyes flashed. You told her everything? You don't get to manage the truth anymore, Tessa said coldly. Adrian stepped forward. Do you need security? No, I said. He's leaving. I'm not going anywhere, Kieran snapped. This is my family. Which one? I asked quietly. Me or her? He had no answer. You set me up, he accused. That actor scheme. You humiliated me. I gave you 1 evening of uncertainty, I replied. You gave me 6 months of gaslighting. His phone rang. He glanced at the screen and paled. HR, Adrian said calmly. Company policies don't favor managers dating subordinates, right? Kieran staggered back. You ruined my life. No, I corrected. You did. We just stopped protecting you from the consequences. 3 months later, sunlight poured through the windows of my new office on the 47th floor of a Manhattan tower. Central Park stretched below, alive and indifferent to the past. My assistant knocked. Your 3 o'clock is here. Adrian walked in, dressed casually now. No performance. No role. You did it, he said, smiling. Senior Vice President. Finally chose myself, I replied. How's the baby? Healthy. Strong. Like her mother. Kieran had signed the divorce papers quietly. He resigned from work. Tessa moved back to her family with her newborn son. We text occasionally, not close, but honest. Adrian stood by the window. Do you regret it? I considered. I regret needing to do it. Not doing it. He nodded. Coffee sometime? I smiled. I'd like that. As he left, I looked out at the city, millions of lives, millions of second chances. My grandmother's voice echoed softly. A woman's silence is strategy. And when she finally speaks, the world shifts. I had spoken. And I was free. If this story moved you, please like, comment, and subscribe, and don't forget to tell us where you're watching from. Your support helps these stories reach the people who need them most, and reminds us all that choosing yourself is sometimes the bravest decision of all.